Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Today I'm reviewing LEGO Ninjago Seabound set number 71754 Water Dragon. This has 737 pieces. It retails for $70 in the US and this releases on August 1st. I got it a little bit early by importing it from the Netherlands. I think that this is a really awesome set. The Ninjago Dragons this year have been really unique and I loved this build. But I will just go ahead and ask everyone to not put any spoilers for Seabound in the comments because I believe it hasn't aired in the US yet, so I don't want anyone to have it ruined for them since I know that there are some pretty big things that happen. We're going to start out with what is the best minifigure of the set, definitely of the year for Ninjago, and maybe ever. This is NRG Nya. It is awesome to see Nya get a fully powered up version after all of the Ninja got NRG minifigures back in 2012. And this is super tricked out because I believe this is the first Ninjago minifigure to have power blasts. I've never really noticed those outside of the superheroes theme, although I know they've been used. Then she's got a recolor of that hidden side smoke piece that was also used on Mysterio. And she's got a backpack attachment with a bunch of water currents. So this minifigure is just amazing, but she is also really busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I just wanted to show this image of her with like all of her attachments because it is a very striking pose. And I completely even forgot to mention the new hair mold, which is in that kind of like iridescent translight blue color. But I'm going to be taking all of this off in just a second. Before I do, I want to point out that you can adjust like the water current pieces. So you can kind of, make her more of the center of attention, or you can make it look like she's trying to blast someone. And you can rotate these over here as well. So you can get a couple good looks out of this. This kind of makes her look more like a fairy in my opinion. With all of the extra stuff removed, you've still got a great minifigure underneath. I love the swirling metallic water patterns. That's really clever and it looks really good like going into the leg. It's actually joined up at the hip pretty well. Sometimes LEGO prints aren't the best going from torso into the legs. She's got a solid dark blue arm for her right arm, and then for her left arm she has a transparent one with a solid aqua colored hand. And this gives you a better look at that awesome new hairpiece. I love that color. I hope that we see it recolored into some solid colors. I think it's also used on her golden minifigure, but I'm actually not sure because I haven't really looked at them. And the one thing I don't like about the face, even though it's a cool print, it does look a lot like Pixel, just because of the like markings around her face. But there's a better look at it without the wrap. And I mean, I know it's accurate to the show. She does have those markings on her face in the show from what I've seen. I haven't seen the whole season, just like clips and images of it. But still, it kind of makes her look Pixel-ish. Here's Scuba Zane. His scuba outfit might be my favorite of any of the ninja. I like the detailing on him, and I just think the white and black color scheme works really well, and you can see his visor the most clearly, which I really appreciate. Now, this breathing apparatus piece, I took a look at this in the Lloyd's Hydromech set. This is all one piece that wraps around the waist and the neck. I'm not going to take the whole thing off again. I'll just fold it down to show you guys the back print because it's kind of a pain to get off, but I love how this sword just slices straight through the oxygen tank. And it's got a pretty interesting harpoon gun, it looks like, made with a ski pole and like a tranquilizer gun piece. So I think that's clever parts usage. I really don't like the face that's used for Zayn now. He's never really like this angry or anything in the show. He's kind of emotionless, so I don't know why they keep using this angry face, and I really wish it had an alternate one on the back. He does have some nice back printing, and then here's a look at that like waist and neck scuba attachment. These are Mare guards. Once again, I took a closer look at this minifigure in my Lloyd's Hydromech review. I'll just go over the highlights here. I love the color scheme. It is amazing. I love that headpiece. It looks incredible. I just really like these guys. These guys might be my favorite Ninjago villain design in like years. I like their weapons too, made using those black dragon hilts, which first appeared in the Diagon Alley set in 2020. And this guy's got a curved blade. His friend in this set is the exact same minifigure, just with a Sai blade instead. This is Prince Kalmar. I have no idea what he's doing in the show, because I think he's a villain, but then I also heard that he wasn't that bad of a guy. I don't know if that's true or not, but I remember seeing him in the sneak peek of Ninjago Season 15 that I got to see back in October of 2020 because of my work on the Golden Hour short. As soon as I saw him, I knew that he would make an amazing minifigure, and he does. First of all, his weapon, it's pretty nice. It's a trident on a lightsaber hilt with a sai at the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that out of the way so that we can see his printing more clearly. I like the gold, purple, and teal color scheme. It's a little bit odd, but I think it looks really good. I love his shoulder armor piece. I believe it was introduced for Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but don't quote me on that because I might be completely wrong. But he's got a lot of nice detail, but what I really love are the new molds for his head and his like tentacle bottom. I thought that one of these was bound to be rubbery, especially the head, but no, they are all hard plastic. So that was a surprise to me because the Ninjago snake tails are rubber at the end, and even the old Lego tentacles from Atlantis were rubber. These are more like the tentacles on Ursula though, and again, I just think that this is a really cool piece and I can't wait to see it reused in the future. We do have two small side builds before we get to the water dragon itself. We'll take a look at this little amulet holding area first. This is the wave amulet, which I believe is a companion to the storm amulet from the island sets. That's a very nice piece. It's the same mold, but it's cast in this kind of translucent light blue with iridescence. That's the color used on Elsa's ice castle, and it is amazing. I really like that color. So I have no idea what this is in the show. I'm guessing it's just an area to get the amulet from. We have the dog poop piece used as seashells. I love that Lego keeps trying to do that because these look nothing like shells. Cupcakes maybe, but yeah, they are not seashells to me. Other than that, we just have a couple tridents, some little like wave pieces. I really like these pieces that Lego's using, these kind of like decorative curly pieces because they do look like water and they make it look like it's flowing. So nice little parts usage there. This submarine for Zayn follows, like there's a bunch of these little builds scattered throughout the sets. I find them to be a little bit annoying. I don't really like them, and I think that holds true here. I just don't think they're that interesting. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I find it to be kind of annoying how the exact same build is scattered all over the sets, and I don't love the color scheme because it's like the main ninja's color scheme mixed with gold, mixed with the trans light blue cockpit, mixed with like flame yellowish orange. And these things just look unfinished around the sides. Like this area looks completely unfinished up top. It feels like this needs a tile or something. There's like gaps around this cockpit piece, which again, like if this wasn't in the way, it could close more flush. And then just even on the inside, it's just unfinished. There's no controls or anything. They're just lame little builds to me, but they do provide some nice playability, I guess. We've got a couple stickers on the sides. There are more ski poles up at the front because I guess Zayn's weapon is a harpoon for this season. And then you can spin this little spinner crown piece at the back. That's a great throwback to the 2012 sets. And you can move these little flaps on the side as well. So that's kind of nice because you can get kind of different looks with that. I've never actually tried to put Zayn into the sub before, so let's get his accessories off and let's see if he can actually fit with that scuba attachment. I assume that's why there are no controls, so that you have a ton of space to just lean him back. So I'll seat him right there. And no, he does not fit there. So let me try moving him back a little bit. All right, there we go. So yeah, he fits with the scuba attachment, but again, I don't really know how he's seeing out of there, and I really wish that there was like a little control panel, even if it didn't really do anything. The water dragon itself is kind of insane. I mean, this build is 2 feet long from head to the tip of the tail. So I'm not going to spend all my time showing it in this super zoomed out mode. We're just going to zero in first. And we might as well start with the tail since that's going to be whipping back and forth while I try to show this thing off anyway. Lego's done a lot of whipping tails on dragons. Usually there's like a little knob that you can turn right there to make it whip. But I really like the tail on this one because it moves in a very like rhythmic, like wavy motion, much more so than some other dragon tails from Lego. Like this one isn't like whipping back and forth like a defensive mechanism like we saw on something like the Ninja Mech Dragon, for example. This really just looks like it's moving through the water, and that is definitely helped by the fact that the very tail end of the body moves as well with like the back legs. So I love that. Like, again, it's just a really, really nice motion, and I think it looks fantastic. I think the reason it moves like that is because these are larger and heavier tail sections than we've become accustomed to on a lot of Ninjago dragons. The tail does slope downwards to rest on the ground, which I think is honestly pretty nice because it kind of helps to stabilize the dragon, although its body's fairly long, so it doesn't really need that. There are a bunch of little minifigure flippers used as fins on this thing. That's very creative. I hate lining them up. It was like such a pain to get them all looking nice. But I mean, once they look nice, they look really nice. So I really like the dark blue, and then like we've got the dark azure and I think light azure color scheme. I don't know what Lego color medium azure is, to be honest. That might be medium azure. But I just like the different shades of blue used. They all fit really well together. And sadly, there is a lot of gray just from these pieces that finish making the tail joints. But I mean, that's kind of unavoidable since I don't think they're made in another color. The tip of the tail has more of those nice flowing water pieces. That's just a pretty good looking like kind of tail tip with not like too long pieces. I really hate when like super long pieces are used on the ends of tails. However, there's no way to like get this to stay in a curling position. Like for the video thumbnail, I wanted this to stay in a curling position. So I literally just had to put Nya in front of it to kind of catch it, but it just really wants to swing free. And I just wish that there was a way to pose it a little bit more permanently, because no matter what you do, no matter how tight you make that curve, it's always going to swing back out. As for the rest of the body, like I said, it's very long, it's very serpentine. But you know, it looks like a water dragon. Like this thing looks like it would just cut straight through the water. We have like a really nice area to hold it from right here. And another thing, this thing is surprisingly light for something so large, which I really like. And so this is kind of just a perfect handle to grab it from. Up here, we've got the wings. They do have a function, which I'll touch on in a second, but I like that they're not like normal dragon wings because this thing isn't really flying from what I gather. I think it's just like swimming through the water. So I like that. I think that these wings look really good. I do not like cloth and vinyl pieces on the wings. I prefer brick-built wings always. And I really hate the plastic or vinyl pieces. They annoy me so much. I thought that these were going to be vinyl, so I was pleasantly surprised to find out that they're cloth. They're very high quality cloth, and I think that these do look really good. These are probably my favorite cloth wings of any Lego Dragon. We've got some sticker detailing all the way back there where those wings join to the body. Those look really good because, again, it's just more like water current pieces, and even though there's a huge gap between those stickers, I think they match up fairly well. And I might as well just show you guys the function now before we get any further. There's a little button right back there. It's kind of hard to get to, but if you pull on that, the wings will kind of like move in this little like rippling motion to make it look like it's swimming. I think that is very effective because it looks nothing like flapping. Like this is not flapping wings. Because they've got like these 3 different levers that all move like semi-independently, it really does look like a rolling wavy motion. And you can, you know, make that go a little bit faster if you want to start to look like flapping, or you can do it like really slowly. I do think it's a little bit hard to get to the button because it's like tucked back there and it doesn't really move that much, but that's like a fairly minor complaint. One thing you'll notice on the top of this dragon is that there's no seat for a minifigure. That really surprised me until I remembered that there were handlebars over here. So I think that a minifigure is just supposed to grab onto the handlebars and just kind of lay across its body right here. Again, that's very unique. Usually all Lego Ninjago dragons have like a total saddle for someone to ride them. I haven't seen the show, like I said, so I don't know if anyone actually rides this, but I can't think of any other reason why there would be handlebars there except to get someone to like lay on their belly and grab hold. I kind of skipped over the legs because honestly, I don't think there's anything really interesting about them. They're fairly rudimentary, blocky builds. That's not to say they're bad. They just aren't really anything exciting. We've got a little bit of brick-built like water detail. I almost would have preferred if that was a sticker just because it would look kind of cleaner. We've got some more flipper pieces at the bottom, and then as for like the claws, we've just got these black claw pieces. I kind of would like to see blue claws, like dark blue. Black's not bad, black is used on this dragon, but I like the dark blue accents much more than the black. And honestly, there's so little black, I feel like these pieces and the claws should have just been dark blue. The other feet are a slightly different build, and I have to lift up the wing to get here. I do like that wave design a little bit better. But again, like the feet down here, they're just very blocky. Like they're completely built on this socket like joint base. And so I wouldn't say I'm disappointed by that. I was just kind of surprised that they weren't more complex, because I feel like a lot of Ninjago and Lego in general, like dragon feet and legs, are very complicated to build. So I was kind of dreading building them, but they went together really fast, and that's both a good and bad thing. All right, now we can finish up at the neck and head. You'll notice that there are these little trapezoid-shaped flags all around it. I don't know how I feel about this, because then on the one hand, I like it. It kind of looks like spikes. On the other hand, I think that they're way too thick and are too obviously flags. Maybe it would look a little bit better with like prints on them. I'm not going to say stickers because it would have been so annoying to apply like whatever, like 10 stickers. But these are actually fixed in place, like fixed at their angle because of the pieces beneath them, which I think is pretty clever because you don't need to waste time trying to perfectly angle them. You do have to try to perfectly angle these and these, but that's not too big of a deal. The neck joint is permanently angled upwards. You can try to move it down a little bit, but really it wants to be right here. It can move like half a joint because it's a ratcheted joint back there, but you can move this up by about 2 clicks. Not even 2 clicks. It's 1 full click that it can move up, and then it can move, and then it sits here, and then it can go down by like half of 1. It can rotate over here though. It does kind of start to bang into those handlebars, and you will get those flags out of alignment, but you do have motion there, which is definitely appreciated. And then right here, you do have another small neck section before the head, and that is on a ball and socket joint, so you can move that however you want. The head of this dragon is one of my favorite parts because honestly, you would expect a water dragon to be dainty, not because Nya's a girl, but just like I'm thinking of the elves water dragon, you know, I'm thinking like fire is, you know, like the harsher element and water is the calmer element. And so I think that the rest of this dragon's body, it really gets that across. It doesn't have big wings. It's just got these like small little like flowy like water wings. And then the entire thing is just very long. It's skinny, it's flowy. That's just like the best way I can describe it. But then you get to the head, and the head is not dainty at all. Like this thing kind of just looks like a mean, angry, like bull almost to me. It reminds me of the dragons in How to Train Your Dragon, especially with that like large hook down at the chin. And I really love that. I love that it looks aggressive because to me, it kind of plays with that expectation that I would have from the rest of the dragon's body. And I really love the printing on it. And I think that it is a great new head because that is a new mold on the bottom, but the upper one is repurposed from the Jungle Dragon set. I quite like this new head system that LEGO introduced with the Overlord Dragon. I have long been a proponent of molded dragon heads in Ninjago. I hate the brick-built heads most of the time. I don't think most of them look good, and I really prefer the molded ones, and that's not just because of my nostalgia for the older dragons. This is, like I said, the Overlord Dragon head system where it kind of clips using like droid arms. I like that and I don't like it. So on the one hand, I think that it makes for a very interesting looking dragon head, and you've got like the interlocking teeth, which is always nice. But then when you go to open the mouth, like see, like that thing's jaw is like receding underneath it. So I feel like you have to be a lot more careful when opening the mouth to not make it look like the dragon's jaw has completely unhinged and like someone just punched it and broke it. The top of the head does have a very nice sticker with that same symbol that's on Nya's back, a couple of golden horns, and then we've got more kind of horns with like these water current pieces. A lot of Ninjago dragons have horns. I like these pieces, but I do kind of wish they were in a solid color instead of still being transparent blue, because I feel like they just get lost a little bit against the flag sometimes. And the other thing is that they get very easily knocked out of alignment. And that's actually probably my biggest problem with the head, is that it's really hard to move it on its neck because that joint has so much friction. It just ends up turning the neck joint behind it. So I honestly wish that this was just another joint like the same size as like another neck section, the same size as this one, twice as big, because then it could have a ratcheted joint right here and then a ball joint for the head. And I think that that would have worked a lot better. And the last thing I want to mention before we move on is the chest armor, because I kind of skipped over that. This is one of those pieces introduced in 2020. That looks great. It looks like layered scaly armor. And then you've also got these kind of adjustable like car spoiler pieces on the sides. So I do like that. It looks like a bulky, like beefy dragon right there. And actually, the real last thing before I move on is the leg articulation. I completely forgot, I skipped over that. You can move these guys at the hips. That's a ratcheted joint down there. And then they've got a ball joint down at the ankle, like a lot of LEGO dragons. Again, I think this foot is like laughably small, so you don't get a ton of good like motion out of that. And as you can see, the claws are like quite easy to break off. I like this pose the best. I think you could bring it closer to the ground if you really wanted to by just, you know, moving out some of these pieces, but you have to be really careful with the feet so that you don't break off the claws just because they are so small. I mean, you can kind of make this thing look like it's paddling through the water. The back legs do a pretty good job of that. But up at the front, it's just kind of unwieldy. It looks like it just beached itself. And so I don't think it's the best look for it. And also the legs start to get in the way of the wings a little bit. Here are the extra pieces. The box for this set is that really long, like $70, $80 box size. I love the art though. The dragon looks really good on the front of it. On top, we've got the names of the characters, and I particularly also like seeing the sea serpent in the corner there. That design continues onto the side, and on the other side, I just really like that water design as well. And then at the back, you've just got some of the functions, but really it's just showing off that very nice looking dragon. The instruction manual is a pretty decent size, and it does have well, first of all, it's got an image of the dragon from the back of the box at the back, and then it's also got a nice ad for all of the other Seabound sets. Overall, I think that this is a pretty nice set. Like I said, this is a very unique Lego dragon. I love the body shape. I love the tail especially. I think the legs and definitely the feet are the weakest point of this thing, and a little bit the neck just because of how hard it is to rotate the head. But it's a good build. The only thing is we've gotten like multiple other Ninjago dragons this year, and I definitely like the Overlord dragon over this one. I might like the Jungle dragon over it, and I don't have the Fire dragon yet, so I can't really compare it to that. But it doesn't really stand out. It stands out in appearance, but not really in what it can do. The wing function is nice, but like it doesn't even have like a clearly defined place to hold a minifigure. They don't even advertise like that a minifigure can hold those handlebars. So I don't even know if they're supposed to. I haven't tested to see if it would fit. And I don't know, it just feels like there's something missing. This doesn't feel like a $70 set to me. Even with the amazing minifigures, even with the two side builds, even though the dragon is 2 feet long, it just doesn't feel like $70. And I don't know why. Part of that might be because the dragon is so light. Like I said, it's long, but it's not very dense. I was shocked at how light it was when I picked it up. And the side builds are nice, but I mean, again, they're just like, they're not like, I feel like they don't add that much value to the set. Even the minifigures, even though they're great, the Mare guards come in every single set. Prince Kalmar comes in like 3 sets, and the 3 biggest ones out of 5, and NRG Nya comes in 2. So honestly, unless you really love the build here, I would skip it, because after I was done building it, I was like, okay, cool, but why did I get this again? Because there was like no exclusive minifigures, and the build wasn't as great as I thought it would be. So I think it's really up for you to decide. I'm probably going to display this because it looks so nice, but I'm definitely not going to be like playing around with it like I do with some other Lego sets. That's it for today. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com, and I will see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.